My name is Rachel Eva, and I am the founder and one of the instructors at Integrative Wellness Academy. And I'm so thrilled that you guys are all joining me because teaching the skills of life coaching is probably my favorite thing to do in the world. So I'm thrilled that you guys are spending part of your day with me. And today I am going to be teaching a lot of tools and sharing a lot of information. 4 of the tools that I'm going to share are specifically to help you determine if a career in life coaching is the right fit for you. The top concerns that I hear from potential students are feeling drained and unfulfilled in their current job. Also, feeling that their current career is lacking purpose and fulfillment. Overwhelmed with where to start. Lacking clarity on the right direction to begin a coaching career. And insecure in your own ability to be a good coach. And lastly, feeling fearful that you won't be able to live that big dream and also get clients and pay bills. And I really understand these concerns, and I aim to address them within this seminar. One of the things that we're going to be doing later on during this seminar is an exercise called a values elicitation. So the very first thing that I want to do is I want to share with you that there are 2 segments of the life coaching industry that are developing or segmenting themselves. And the first one is the traditional form of life coaching, and this is more performance-based and behavior modification. The second segment that is becoming even more popular is the therapeutic modality of life coaching, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Before we dive into that, I want to share with you guys how I ended up as an integrative coach. So I started off, back in, I think it was 1993. And this was before life coaching was popular or before it was really even a modality at all. I started off in coaching in the health and wellness field. I think my first certification was back when I was 19 years old, and it was in fitness. And so what I started to do is I started to coach people. They would come to me for problems or wanting solutions in their physical body. This might have been a health issue. This may have been weight loss. It could have been an injury. It could have been a disease that they were struggling with. And one of the things that I found was that as I would coach clients, they would make progress. And as they were making progress, they might lose that weight, they might gain more health, but then something would happen in their life, something stressful, emotionally difficult, and they would bump into that and they would end up sort of backsliding all the way back to where they were struggling originally or possibly even in a worse condition. So what I began to do is I began to investigate this and to study more modalities. I ended up getting certified in over 20 different modalities, including cognitive behavioral therapy, neuro-linguistic programming, a lot of mental and emotional modalities to support my clients. And I began to do life coaching and to integrate a number of different healing modalities. And what I started to see with the clients is that they would make this progress and they would be able to sustain the positive change. So there was a lot less backsliding. And around this time, I started to write books on the subject of integrative wellness and self-development. And I was speaking at a lot of conferences around the country. And people would come up to me afterwards and they would say, how do I learn to do what you do? From that point on, I started to create a curriculum and the modality of integrative life coaching, which then incorporated all of those 20 different healing modalities to be able to support clients. And in 2010, I founded IWA, and we began training and certifying people all over the world. We've trained over 7,000 students now. We have students in Qatar, we have students in China, all over Europe and all over the United States. So we're going to talk more today about life coaching as a therapeutic modality. And I want to give you a lot of information. Again, I'm going to answer as many questions as I can at the end, so please hang on tight. We will get into that. So the first thing that I want to share about life coaching is, as we're moving forward, I think it's important for us to have or be on the same page and to have the same definitions. So I want to give you guys a few definitions that you're going to hear me use throughout this seminar. And the first one is the word holistic. So you may have heard this word, you might have a perception of what that is, but let me just share with you what I mean by holistic. When you hear me talking about holistic, I mean the whole person, taking the whole person into consideration versus just one part, just the outside, just the mental capacity, just the emotional capacity. I'm talking about whole person or holism, incorporating all of those elements together. And then the second one is wellness. And wellness is a word that's become very popular. There's a lot of wellness-based products. You can drive down the street and see a chiropractic center and it says wellness center, or you can go to down another street and you'll see a Pilates studio and that's a wellness center also. So I want to get clear about what I mean by wellness. Wellness is not just in the physical body. That doesn't just mean health. So when I talk about wellness, I'm talking about wholeness and balance in all aspects of self and in all areas of life. And wellness is something that when we focus on it, we focus on prevention versus just problem solving or dealing with the negative end results, right? So it's not about chasing down problems and fixing those, but it's also about creating that wellness before a problem occurs or a negative result occurs. So as an integrative life coach, you're helping your clients with both problem solving and also prevention. And then the last word that I use a lot is the word integrative. And that might sound confusing. Let me be clear about what I mean by integrative. Integrative means a combination of modalities or fields. So if you are, for example, a chiropractor, but you also have studied, an advanced degree in nutrition, you might integrate those two modalities together and support your clients using both. So the first tool that I want to talk about is the holistic model. And as an integrative coach, this is something that you will use. And I hope that this is something that you can immediately begin applying to your own life as well. The tool of the holistic life model. What this means is that there are 4 major areas of self. And those 4 areas are mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual. So within these 4 systems, the tool that I want to talk about here is what is the holistic life model? And that is taking all of those 4 systems into consideration and helping to bring balance and wholeness into all of those. And I'm going to define those a little bit because, again, we each have a different perception of what those words mean to us. And what I mean by those 4 is, let's talk about the mental system. So the mental system, this isn't your capacity to learn things or your education. The mental system, that is your thought life, your thought patterns, and your conscious beliefs. So for example, if a client came to you and they were having a lot of negative feelings about themselves and they said, I'm constantly feeling like I'm a failure. I just think about all of the things that I've done and failed at in my life. They're talking about something that's going on in their mental system. The emotional system, as you can probably guess, has to do with our emotions. That has to do with our feelings, both towards ourselves and also towards other people. So inside of that emotional system would also be your relationships, especially your relationship with yourself. And then let's talk about the physical system. This is the one that I would say is probably the easiest for most people to identify with. And the reason for that is because the physical system, that's where the results show up. For example, if I have a negative eating pattern, those results show up in my physical system pretty quickly. Or if I binge shop, that debt shows up in my physical system pretty quickly. So the physical system, one of the most common mistakes about the physical system is that the physical system is just our body, it's just our health, but the physical system also incorporates the things that you have or don't have tangibly in your life around you. This would be things like organization around you, your home environment. Those are also part of your physical system. So the example I was talking about earlier of binge shopping and then debt showing up in the physical system. So debt is also a physical system issue that can manifest or be created. The last one, the last category within this holistic model is the spiritual system. This one, I think, is, in my experience, the most frequently confused system of self. And the reason for that is that people have a strong attachment to connecting the word spiritual to a religious belief, for example. But when I'm talking about the spiritual system, I'm not talking about a religion or any specific spiritual practice. Those would be examples of something someone could do to grow or experience more balance in their spiritual system, but it's not the system in and of itself. So the spiritual system, this is what I define as our alignment with our true self, and also our connection to the world, and that connection to a higher power or nature or God or whatever it is that your client identifies that specifically as. When we're looking at the holistic life model, it's trying to help a client to achieve that harmony, that balance, that wellness in all of those systems, because those 4 systems are not separate. All 4 of the systems are interconnected and affect each other. Our mental system, for example, affects our emotional system. When I have negative thoughts about someone else or about myself, or I have fear and anxiety types of thought patterns that are going over and over in my mind, that then immediately begins to affect my emotions. And then I might feel anxiety, I might feel anger, I might feel sadness, right? So that's pretty clear about how those 2 systems are connected. But all 4 of your systems are very, very deeply interconnected and affect one another. So the holistic life model, again, is helping clients to achieve balance and wellness in all 4 of those systems. And the second tool that I want to talk about is the life balance model. We have these different areas of our life, right? So we just talked about those 4 areas of self: mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual. But we also have a number of areas in our life that are considered major life areas. And those areas are career and finance, health and wellness, family and relationships, self-development, and spirituality. So we have those major areas of life, and a client might come to you having a problem in the area of career. Well, if we just are looking at the career, we have our blinders on. But if we look at all of the areas of life, we get a much bigger, broader perspective on how that client can achieve happiness, success, and balance in all of the areas of their life. So let's say that this client, as they are talking to you about making that career advancement and what it's going to take in order to do that, and maybe it's going to require 20 extra hours every single week at the office. And as they continue to talk and you ask questions, powerful questions being a huge part of what we do as a life coach, and you ask some questions about their family life, their family and relationships, and you find out that they have, say, a newborn at home. One of the important things to look at right there in that example is, okay, so if you have a brand new child, would spending 20 extra hours at the office be balanced? How would that then affect your family life? So we begin connecting all of these major areas of life and helping clients to see how those are interconnected, what's happening in their family life and in their health is also affecting their career, and vice versa. So in the life balance model, as an integrative life coach, you're helping clients to identify how they can bring success and balance and happiness in all areas of their life as well. Even if you niche your practice as a coach specifically on, say, family and relationship life coaching, you still need to know how to coach in those other areas, because it's going to be very beneficial to your clients to take the whole picture, not just one piece, into consideration. And we use a lot of different tools and techniques to help our clients to achieve that type of balance, again, in all aspects of self, and then in all areas of their life. And I want to talk to you guys about one that you can even start practicing in your own life, because let's face it, as practitioners in the helping field, our own wellness and balance becomes even more important for us to focus on. There's so many times that if you're supporting others, you're not also caring for yourself. So self-care is a huge part of being an incredible coach. When you study with Integrative Wellness Academy, throughout the entire process of becoming certified, you are your first client before you ever work with other clients. And even if you don't study with IWA and you get your certification somewhere else, please, please, please do the work yourself, because this is going to make you a better coach, and it's also going to help you to achieve that balance in your own life. So let me teach you guys a quick little exercise, and this is just one small tool that you can begin applying to your own life to create balance and wellness, both in that holistic life model, so in mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual systems, and then also in the life balancing model of bringing balance and wellness or wholeness to all areas: family and relationships, health and wellness, career and finances, self-development, and spirituality. So we all probably are familiar with writing a to-do list or writing a grocery list. I'm one of those people that I love lists. I write a list of things to do every single day. And this exercise is going to build on that simple process of creating a list. So when you think of writing a to-do list for the whole week, you might be thinking about, you might be focused on work. What do I have to do at work? Or you might be focused on writing down all of the life things that you have to do, like going to the grocery store, cleaning the house, taking the dog to the vet, things like that. So when you are creating your to-do list for the week, break it down in categories. Actually break it down into mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual, and then also into each of the major areas of life. So you have all of these different columns, and write your to-do list for each of those specific areas. An example of the emotional system, I'll do that. Maybe I'm making my to-do list for the week, and I'm going to put in the emotional system that I need to do a self-care exercise, or I need to connect with a loved one. I need to hang out and have a lunch date. So I'm putting those things on my to-do list, and I'm also putting things on my to-do list for the area of career, the area of family, the area of health. And you look at this whole list and you see if it's balanced. Very quickly, you'll be able to see where you're investing your time and your energy. And when you're working with clients, this is a great exercise, because what you can pretty easily show the client, or they'll show themselves, is that, wow, I'm focusing all of my attention in, and all of my time and all of my energy and all of my resources in this one area. Gee, no wonder I'm having some challenges or problems showing up in this other area of my life, like family. So that's a really quick little exercise. It's just a small tool that can have a very big impact. So I invite you to practice that one in your own life, and also you can begin using that with clients as well. How do we integrate those? And I think the number one way is awareness. First, we have to be aware that we have those 4 systems and we have all of these different areas of life. So we become aware of that. And the next thing is addressing our actions and our choices with intentionality, so that we are focusing. Again, maybe it's using something like that small tool that I shared with you about creating that to-do list. But bringing intentionality so that when we make choices, we are taking into consideration the whole picture instead of just this one area of life, or trying to solve this one problem, or trying to achieve this one goal. This next tool I'm going to teach you is a proprietary coaching model that we teach at Integrative Wellness Academy. And this is the inside out, outside in approach,